This is 7 National News. Here are the headlines. Community efforts towards helping the environment gains interest. Abu Dhabi plans for the next generation. And EU leaders gather in Brussels to discuss safety issues for nuclear plants. And in our top story, community efforts towards the conservation and protection of the environment is gaining increased interest, and raising awareness has become a common factor with environmental plans, according to the Minister of Environment and Water, Dr. Rashid Ahmed bin Fahad. Mr. Fahad's comments come in line with Earth Hour, which he says has been gaining increased momentum in record time from the local level to the international scene. The initiative was launched by the World Wildlife Fund in 2007 and is now celebrated in 128 countries across the globe. More than 400,000 people took part last year in the UAE. Mr. Fahad says that Earth Hour provides more Emiratis and residents the opportunity for active participation in government efforts to protect the environment and reduce the country's carbon footprint. Abu Dhabi's urban planners are designing for the next generation by looking to create more close-knit communities, pedestrian-friendly areas and more accessible recreational neighbourhoods. This comes as part of Abu Dhabi's 2030 future plans to focus on community development and neighbourhoods. The areas will offer a mix of residences, shopping, services, recreation and workplaces. Aisha Abu Shahab, an associate planner at the Urban Planning Council, told a local paper that they are working on making the city more compact and making it so that amenities are closer to each other to reduce the need for transport and to promote walking. Emirati housing is also a top priority for the UPC, where areas known as Farij are to be developed, where homes are set up around a central courtyard. The region's yachting future will be based on a mix of a more favourable regulatory environment, tighter safety and security measures, and collective destination development, according to industry insiders. As a part of the third Abu Dhabi Yacht Show, an expert panel briefing highlighted the changes that must be implemented to drive the industry, with further support from the government for regulations. Yacht owners can sometimes find it difficult to gain access to marinas, and the panel added that rules for clearance to enter and exit various marinas must be addressed. Investments into developments are also needed to drive its potential. Diplomats from different countries showcased some of their national dishes at the Show Kitchen, one of the events at the recently concluded 21st Abu Dhabi International Book Fair. On its second run, guest ambassadors from Finland, South Africa and the UAE entertained and treated visitors at the fair to a sumptuous three-course meal. According to the officials, food and books are among the two most effective ways of discovering, learning and understanding about other people and their different cultures.
The kitchen is probably the last place one would expect to find a diplomat. However, this is where everyone found them one Saturday, cooking dishes representative of their respective countries. Unknown to many, these distinguished officials have a passion for food and cooking. On its second-year Show Kitchen, one of the events featured at the Abu Dhabi International Book Fair, highlighted 3 different countries through food and added value to the UAE's multicultural community, according to famous TV personality, chef and author Suzanne Husseini.
The book fair itself is a celebration of all cultures. It's a celebration of all kinds of cuisines. It's very typical UAE. And the Show Kitchen is also a testament, in my eyes, that it brings people together. Food, like nothing else. Reading, of course, reading books, but food brings people together. And it doesn't matter what culture you're from, it doesn't matter what language you speak, we all love to eat.
First off was Finland ambassador to the UAE, His Excellency Matti Lasila. He prepared salmon gravlax for the starters. His simple and not-so-secret recipe was a hit among the crowd. The ambassador sliced the salmon thinly and served it on bread. While his gravlax proved to be very popular, he also charmed everyone by answering questions with a sprinkling of his good-natured humor.
When you know something about another people and another culture, then you you are less prone to mistrust them, or you are more prone to sort of work with them and not against them, if I may put my words in that way. So not only cooking, but music, literature, many other things that you have here at the book fair as well.
For the main course, Aisha Al-Shamsi stepped in to show her culinary expertise in place of her husband, His Excellency Dr. Saeed Al-Shamsi, who was called away for a meeting. She represented the UAE and prepared a healthier version of mashbous. And just for good measure, she also brought some delicious home-cooked biryani, much to the delight of the audience.
Food is so important. Plays a very important role in bringing people together, learning about the cultures, and the local food here is very rich, to be honest. A lot of it originates, I would say, from India. The rice, the spices and all.
And finally, for dessert, South African Ambassador His Excellency Yaqub Abba Omar prepared a dessert similar to creme brulee and infused it with a native ingredient from his country, the rooibos tea. The ambassador's sweet dish was a fitting end to the delicious meal.
We are the rainbow people, and so all our foods comes from different cultures. And people would, if you go to a house, you may start off with an Indian roti, and you may have a Malay dessert, and you may have a European dish in between, or some African dish. For example, sweet potato is very important in the African cuisine. Even pumpkin or butternut are very important items in African cuisine. So food goes beyond cultures.
In the end, it was evident that the chefs enjoyed themselves as much as the crowd did. And it was one proof that each one of us is an essential ingredient to the melting pot of nationalities that is the UAE. Khadija Sali, 7 National News.
And carry on with the theme of food. For all those foodies out there, the Sharjah Food Festival is in full force for a week. Visitors can enjoy midnight feasts, late cookery classes and sample tasting of fine cuisine. Top chefs from around the Emirates are showcasing their culinary skills from 5:30 p.m. to midnight. The event is under the theme Slice and Dice and will also see a whole host of extra entertainment from musical and stilt performers to food carving displays. Dina Al-Naki, the events manager of the Al-Kasbah Development Authority, says that following the huge success of last year's edition, they have been looking forward to organising a larger edition for this year. It's been reported that the Premier of the Cayman Islands, Makiva Bush, is set to hold talks with Dubai officials for a potential partnership for a new enterprise zone in the Cayman Islands. According to a news source, the Premier is bringing his top-level delegation to the Emirates next week. Discussions will include possible tie-ups for the technical and science zone Enterprise City and to tap into Dubai's expertise. And the 16th edition of the Dubai World Cup horse racing kicks off today, the richest and most highly anticipated race in the world. Tune in tomorrow for our in-depth report of the day. But looking abroad now, EU leaders gathered in Brussels on Friday to try to agree on new safety rules for their nuclear power plants. At the meeting, many countries called for EU-wide stress tests on all nuclear tests to ensure security to the highest level. Rather than focusing on individual countries, German Chancellor Angela Merkel says that they will need to deal with the nuclear issue on a European and international level. According to Reuters, a draft declaration shows they will probably sign up to a voluntary safety code very soon. And experts say that what is likely to emerge are voluntary stress tests, whose details will be developed in the months ahead by Energy Commissioner Gunther Oettinger. Radioactive levels are soaring in seawater near the crippled Fukushima Daiichi plant, according to the Japanese government, 2 weeks after the nuclear power plant was hit by a massive earthquake and tsunami. Although engineers tried to pump puddles of radioactive water from the power plant 240 kilometers north of Tokyo, Japan's nuclear safety agency said tests on Friday showed radioactive iodine had spiked 1,250 times higher than normal in the seawater just offshore the plant. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yukio Edano said the government will enhance monitoring of radiation levels in seawater near the plant. He added that the radiation has not affected aquatic life for the time being and that specialists believe that sea life outside the 20-kilometre evacuation zone had not been affected. More than 700 engineers have been working in shifts to stabilise the nuclear complex, and work has been advancing to restart water pumps to cool the reactors. 2 of the 6 reactors at the Fukushima plant are now seen as safe, but the other 4 are volatile, occasionally emitting steam and smoke. And up next, we have the day's business news, so stay with us.